Hello and welcome to my today's video about the beloved TV show of Avatar: The Last Airbender that was originally aired by Nickelodeon and is now available on Netflix. Today I want to talk about the character of Zuko, son of the Fire Lord, and his uncle Iroh, and a specific scene I've picked to show that character development of Zuko. I always liked the show, even if I watched the movie first, and that was a good thing because this way I didn't hate it in the first place. What doesn't mean that I was amazed by it after all. After watching the cartoon for the third time now, one specific scene stayed in my mind. In Season 3, Episode 5, The Beach, the characters Zuko, Azula and Tilly are sitting on the beach after being thrown out of a party for being rude. On the beach, they are talking about their past and how they ended up becoming the persons they are today. Zuko is, by the way, my favorite character of all, because he goes through this massive change in his inner conflict between who he got told to be and his growing feeling of who he wants to become. That's one of the most fascinating plots in the whole show. And as I'm mentioning Zuko, I can't talk about him without mentioning his uncle Iroh, who is responsible, I would argue, for a big portion of his inner change. They support each other on Zuko's mission to capture the Avatar Aang and his friends, even if Zuko is a very angry character in the beginning and his development relies on chats and debates with his uncle. Anger is always linked to the Fire Nation in the whole story. That's why in the first few episodes, Iroh doesn't seem to fit in. He's very relaxed and does not change his kind and friendly behavior when he is confronted with other nations. The Fire Nation instead is lessly presented in a humane way, but more like a machine that destroys through the war. And that's even the first thing you learn during the beginning of the show, that they started that war. Aang, as our main protagonist, was frozen and does not know what's going on. So in the beginning, he represents the viewer's perspective and we learn new things through him. But the most challenging thoughts and changes in my perspective are presented through Zuko. He wants to redeem his honor and tries to catch Aang so he can bring him to his father, the Fire Lord who punished him. In the beginning, that's the only way he sees how he can get his life as a prince back. But during his journey, Iroh shows him that he needs to find peace within himself. That creates his conflict between his two poles or forces. He'll to get his old life back and redeem himself as the prince, and the new one, the wish that is growing that he can be happy within himself and accept his actions. This conflict leads us to the scene I find most interesting in the show. The scene begins with a little showing of him burning an old picture of his family. This very symbolic scene of burning the picture of his family and his old self is just one of the many remarkable scenes in the show that just tell a story through picture. After Tilly, one of his cousins, is complaining about not being individual or not getting the chance to be individual while growing up under nearly similar sisters of her, the other kids join in and tell their stories that made them crack inside and leave marks that just been created by the Fire Nation. This intense scene comes to its peak when Zuko gets asked by the other kids who he's angry at. He answers that he's angry with himself after a while. He says he doesn't know the difference between right and wrong anymore. And that statement is the realization and confession to himself that he is in a process of change. He's growing up. Azula instead doesn't say much and keeps her anger hidden. It reveals her evil and shows us once again in the show that character is not dependent on the nationality or group. From the beginning of the show, we see Zuko as a very conflicted, growing up young man who always tries to get the attention and love he missed during his childhood. He thinks in the beginning that he could get his father to love him if he can capture the avatar and bring him back. But that never was an option, and he starts to realize and fully acknowledge this in this moment I just described. That's what makes this scene so special. And instead of the rest of the show, which is more kids orientated, these moments are for any age. I doubt that as a young child you will see this scene in the same way as in an adulthood. I'm 25, so I consider myself in between of teenager and fully adult, whatever you consider as being an adult. The reason why I chose this specific scene is because I think it's one of the greatest execution of showing us real emotion and a conflicted mind. Thank you very much for watching this video with me today. I hope you're interested in more content, not especially this kind. I'm experimenting a little bit on what comes next. Let me know if you have watched the Avatar The Last Airbender. As I told in the beginning, it's not a brand new show, but now very easily accessible through Netflix, and I would love to do more videos like this. And I hope you enjoyed it, and please leave a comment on the next episodes and different shows I could watch. I'm always open for recommendations. And the last thing is, I hope you have a nice day. See you soon. TheGucke.